let you guys tune in over here. We're going live on Instagram. We got live on, we're trying something new, right? I've been exploring these different things. I know we get some messages about, Nick, I want you on my TV, but I can't put it on the TV through Instagram. So we're trying it on YouTube. We're trying it on Facebook. We're trying it on different things, trying to spread out to different platforms. So welcome everyone. I think the last time I looked, we had I had it in my notes that it was split between mobility and flexibility. So that's what we're going to do. And I guess we got the sun coming in. I got to do something with this. Ever since we switched the time, the sun's like right there in front of us whenever we start the class. So just keep that in mind. Don't get yourself blinded. Make sure that you are getting yourself nice and ready for our Pilates class. So, like always, we get started at 10:05. So, give you guys some time to essentially get yourself space, get yourself a drink of water. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves started at 10:05. So, I'll tune around. Let me see how everybody's doing. Where are you tuning in from? Well, I think this is our 29th class, believe it or not. We've been doing this for 29 classes right now. And again, you can see we got the ghost. We're set up for, well, my girlfriend set us up for Halloween. See, we're being festive here. So let me know if you have any questions. And again, if this is your first time, just make sure that you are listening to your body, right? I always like to give some explanations before in a couple minutes before we get started. But again, if this is your first time, make sure you're listening to your body. This is a good way to get yourself some energy for the beginning of the week, because Sunday is actually the beginning of the week, not the end of the week, like most of us think. So, yeah, it's one of those things. So get yourself seated into a cross-legged position. And we're going to go over a couple things, some housekeeping stuff. I don't know why I'm still having that in my hand. Some housekeeping stuff to get us started before we get going. So in this class, if this is your first time, we do 10 or 20 minutes of Pilates. We do 20 minutes of yoga. So essentially, we get the body all nice and warm. We get the core going. We get the hips going. We get the body. We get the blood flowing. And then we cool it down with 20 minutes of yoga. So with that being said, there's two different ways of breathing. So there's three things that we need to know before we get in here. Is the first is the breath, right? When we breathe in Pilates, I want you to think it's a different breath from the yoga, because we inhale through our nose and then we exhale out through our mouth. And we keep going until we feel that core contract. And the reason we breathe like that is so that we get the assistance of the breath while our core is engaged. And that's just going to help keep your back stable, keep a lot of things from getting hurt, essentially. So when we transfer into our yoga, now we'll reiterate this, is that we're just breathing through the nose, zip the mouth shut, breathing in and out through the nose so that we can calm the breath and calm the body down. So that's the first thing. The second thing is making sure that your core is actually engaged. And I know sometimes it's really hard for us to really feel some of these core exercises, right? Maybe sometimes you feel it in your lower back, maybe you feel it in your hips. And so I want you to think right now is if you were just crunching over and you feel just that little bit of engagement right here, right? Very, very simple core engagement, just kind of rolling over right here. But I want you also to think that if somebody was to punch you in the stomach, how you would brace for that. That's the same type of brace we're trying to think. We're trying to keep that lower back onto the mat. And third, threshold. And we're going to get into that right now. So let's get ourselves on our back right here and bring your knees into your chest. So I want you to take a deep inhale, deep exhale out through the mouth. And we're going to be focusing on mobility and flexibility today. So I want you just to kind of give yourself a couple hip circles. We're going to go 5 circles clockwise. And we're going to go 5 circles counterclockwise. And when you're doing this, I want you to make sure that your lower back is imprinted into your mat or into the ground, wherever you're at. Doing these hip circles, inhaling down, exhaling up, 5 to each side, and then bring your knees into your chest. And I want us to get ready right into the single leg stretch. So I want you to extend your left leg all the way long and bring that right knee into your chest here. Hold this position, and I want you to look, bring your head up, lift your head and shoulders, and look at your foot. Make sure that your toes are pointing all the way up to the sky. And if you can hold this position, right, 2 to 3 finger gap in between your chin and your chest. So you're not looking directly at your foot, you're looking kind of up and at an angle. Let's inhale and switch. We're going to hold this again for another 15 seconds. Now, I know a lot of times, even teaching classes, even online, a lot of people say, Nick, my neck always hurts in Pilates. And the reason is because you're shrimping your head like this. So I want you to think neutral spine, but you're looking up at the sky. Toes are pointing up. Deep inhale. And then let's inhale, exhale, bring that knee into your chest. And let's do it again. We're going to go, you can bring that head down now. Take a deep inhale, and I want you to do a double exhale, exhale, single leg stretch. And then I want you to go ahead, inhale, switch, exhale, exhale to the other side. And we're going to do this for 20 seconds at your own pace. So again, the best way to do a lot of these movements is slow and controlled, right? I don't want you to think that you're just rushing in here doing, no. Just think slow and controlled, feel what is being stretched, what is being used. And again, this is just a warm-up exercise here for us. Let's do 1 to each side. And then now bend those knees into your chest. And let's do 5 of those circles again. We're going to go 5 clockwise circles. And at this point, you can start to feel a little bit of your core start to engage. And then I want you to go ahead, reverse that circle. Feel your abs, feel the lower back imprinted into the ground. You shouldn't be arcing here. Inhale down, exhale up. Bring those knees into your chest. And let's go to a tabletop position here. So legs are at a 90, your lower back's engaged, your arms are up. We're getting into our dead bug. So we're going to do this 20 times, which is going to be 10 to each side. So your right arm goes back with your left leg. So we call that contralateral, fancy word. So let's go. Inhale, bring that leg, bring that arm back. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, exhale. And when we're doing this, I want you to think about that threshold position that we were talking about. So while you're doing this, I want you to think at any point when you lower that leg down, does it feel like it gets into your lower back? If so, you're bringing your leg too far down. See, for me, right here is a good threshold position for me. If I go anything further, it gets into my lower back. So I want you to find that here with the next 10 that you do, that you're only going to that threshold position. And then the same thing with your arms, right? So don't make your arms go all the way down to touch the ground if you find that your ribs start to protrude all the way up. Let's do 3, 2, 1, and one more. And bring those knees into your chest. And see, so now you can start to feel a little bit of that engagement. You can get a little bit more of that core burn. And let's go ahead and stretch that right leg all the way long. Make sure your toes are pointing up. You're going to bring that left leg all the way up. And we're going to get ready for the straight leg stretch. So we've been working on this since last week. It's point the toes. You can lift your head up unless, you feel like your neck's a little sore. But I want you just to get that ankle, do a couple ankle circles here. And then I want you to inhale, point the toe. Exhale, exhale, inhale, and switch. Holy smokes, my hamstrings are tight today. We're going to do this 20 times. Again, 10 to each side. You're trying to grab behind the hamstring, right? And that double exhale is going to be very important so that you can get a little bit more mobility and a little bit more flexibility out of the ligaments and out of the tendon. Because what you're really doing here is you can feel a deep stretch from the insertion from your glute to the hamstring. And this is what's going to allow you to get a little bit more length as you keep going further into your practice. My right hamstring is a lot tighter than my left. So let's keep that toe pointing. Exhale, exhale, pull. Inhale, exhale, exhale, pull. Let's do 2 more. I lost count. I was tracking. 1, and 2. Exhale, exhale, inhale, switch. Exhale, exhale. Bring those knees into your chest. So now we're starting to get that heat involved, get that heat into the body, and then now bringing those knees up to that tabletop position again. We're going to get set up for the double leg stretch. So the double leg stretch is where we're going to find our real threshold. So before we get there, I want you to find a point where your legs go all the way down, and then if you start to feel your back come up, that's where I want you to stop. So right here, I got some shake and bake going on, but right here, if I go anything further, I feel my back start to arc. So I want you to think, find your threshold first, and then find the threshold with your arms. So inhale, bring your hands back. At what point do your ribs start to come up when you bring your arms back? Maybe mine's about right here. So I know that right here is my start and my end. And so if you got that, let's get started. We're going to do 10 of our double leg stretches. So legs in the tabletop position. We're going to inhale and then exhale back to center. Inhale, get length. Exhale, back to center. 2. Remember, you're keeping that lower back imprinted into the ground. Only bringing your legs and your arms to that threshold. If you feel that your neck is a little sore, you can bring your head down. Inhale, exhale. If you need any other assistance, you could do 1 knee down and just do 1 leg. But just make sure that you're alternating whenever you do it, right? Inhale, exhale. But if you want, you can do your double leg stretch. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, extend, exhale back to center, and bring those knees into your chest. And let's flip over to our left side. So now that we got the core involved, let's work on some hip mobility drills. So we're going to do something called the bicycle. And so we've talked about this many a times whenever we do our practice, is that I don't want you thinking that you have to be in a straight line when you're on doing some of your side series stuff. What I want you to think is that your feet are actually at an angle of your mat, right? So the reason we do this is very simple. It helps us bring our hips back into extension. So make sure that your elbow and your shoulder are all in one line. And I want you to go ahead, bring that leg back as far as you can until your hips don't tilt, as far as you can, and then bring it back to center. I want you just to do that 5 times, just so you can find and really feel your glute actually maybe turn on. Exhale back to center, because this is where your threshold is going to be on a side series. So we found our threshold when we're on our back. You're going to find your threshold when you're doing your side series. So last one. And so now when we do our single leg kicks, our bicycles, just remember that that's your spot. And again, if you start to feel that this is tired, you can bring your arm down. You could keep it like this, whatever feels best for you. This just gives you a little bit more strength, stamina in the shoulder. So let's inhale, bring that leg back to your threshold. And I want you to exhale, exhale, kick. 10 times. Inhale, exhale, exhale, kick. Inhale back, exhale, exhale, kick. Make sure that you're not wiggling around trying to throw your whole body. Keep everything nice and still. It's a nice controlled motion. Inhale. Make sure you're not kicking anybody, right? Make sure you're not kicking your kid, your dog, your table, depending on where you're doing this at. Inhale back, exhale, exhale. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, exhale. Last one. And then bring that leg all the way down. Give it a rest. We're still staying here. Because now we're going to do the bicycle. So same thing. Lift that leg up. Bend that knee all the way into your chest. But I want you to exhale. Act like you're pushing a pedal on a bike. Bring it all the way back. Inhale in. So you're making these nice rotations by keeping your hip and your legs square. You're able to push. And I always like to say, think of it as like you're pushing through mud, right? So you can kind of get a little bit more of this isometric contraction. Nice and slow. Inhale, driving that knee up. Exhale, pushing all the way back. Inhale, exhale. Let's do this 5 more times. You can really start to feel it on your side butt, right? Like that's one of the areas that I think a lot of times people forget about when we're doing Pilates is that, yes, it's core, yes, it's hip, but it's this TFL muscle right here. Inhale, drive that knee. Exhale, and bring that leg all the way down and give it a rest. Now let's flip over onto our belly here. So now we're going onto our belly, and we're going to do something called the single leg kicks. So I want you into this Sphinx pose. If you can think, your hands down, palms up. Inhale, exhale, exhale, kick that heel to your butt. Inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, exhale. Now I want you to do this for about 20 seconds. And if you find that you have any lower back pain, I would say get yourself into a child's pose, or just make sure you're all the way down when you do this, right? It's totally fine if you're doing this, but just make sure that your legs and your quads stay on the mat the whole time. Do 3, 2, 1, and give it a rest. And then from here, we're going to get something into what is called like a shell pose, but essentially it is a child's pose with your knees bent together. Bent with your, wow, I can't even speak. With child's pose with the bent knees, but they are close together. And then straighten out your arms all the way forward. A little different than a child's pose in yoga. And then I want you to come all the way up to all fours. And we're going to get set up into our bird dog position. So with our bird dog, let's go ahead and make sure that your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder are all in a line, right? I don't want you pushing too far forward here. Make sure everything is in line. And I want you to straighten your left leg all the way back. Point the toes down. Exhale, straighten your right arm all the way forward. I want you to hold this position for 3, 2, 1, and then bring yourself down. We're going to do that again to the other side. Straighten, make sure your legs and your toes are pointing down. You're gripping the mat. Hold for 5, 2, 1, back down. We're going to do this one more time. And if you're looking for a challenge, I want to show you this. Now, this might not be for everybody, so watch this first. Inhale, extend. And then if you can, lift that back foot up off the ground where you're balancing on your knees. If you got really good core stability, you'll be able to do this. If not, keep that foot down. Challenge yourself. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. If you have it, lift that foot up off the ground. Challenge yourself. If you don't, keep that foot there. I don't need you falling over. Inhale, exhale, bring yourself back down. And we're going to finish off doing the same side series, but then on the other side. Then we're going to get into our yoga practice here. So hopefully you guys are still with me here. We didn't fall over and accidentally hurt yourself, you know. So remember, feet at the corner. We're going to go ahead. 5 ways to find that threshold all the way back. I can actually kick my bag. Inhale, bring that leg back to center. Inhale, exhale. Right? We just do this to find that threshold because we don't want you rolling the hips over. We don't want you doing anything like that. I always like to say, make sure that there's like, you envision a rod that goes through your hip. I mean, I don't know why you would want that, but just where it keeps you up like a fence post. So now that you find your threshold, let's exhale, exhale, and kick. Inhale back, exhale, exhale, kick. We got this 10 times. And that double exhale is so important because it allows the Golgi tendon, I know we're getting a little scientific here, but the Golgi tendon is something that you have in your muscles that prevents your muscles from overstretching. So it tells your nervous system and says, hey, it's a little too far. But one way that we can shock it to allow us to get a little bit more mobility and flexibility out of the hamstring, out of the muscle, is by doing these slight pulses. That exhale, exhale, right? It's not the best for every muscle group, but slow and controlled, it allows yourself to develop a little bit more mobility in that posterior chain than you think you actually have. One more. Exhale, exhale. Bring that foot down. Woo. And then now lift that leg. Bring that knee into your chest. Inhale, exhale. Pedal that leg all the way back. Inhale, drive. Exhale, slow. Pointing the toe. Inhale, drive. Exhale, making sure you're not collapsing in that shoulder. I don't want to see you doing this, right? If you start to get fatigue, you can come down like so. Inhale, exhale, press. I still need you for 20 more minutes of yoga. Inhale, exhale. Feel that side butt, feel your ankles. I got my knees cracking, everything's cracking. 3, exhale, press. 2, and let's finish this last one. And go ahead and give it a rest. Whew. All right, so now your hips, your hamstrings, everything should be in line. Look at that. Wow, would you? Like I've done it before. Perfect timing. So now, shake it off. And so now that we've just been breathing 20 minutes together, doing inhales and exhaling out through the mouth, I need you to forget that and zip the mouth shut and only breathe through the nose. So this is how we're going to do it. I want you just to sit back, bring yourself into a child's pose position, big toes together, bring your butt all the way down, walk your hands all the way to 12 o'clock, and I want you to just inhale, exhale out through the nose. 5 deep breaths here. Inhale, exhale. And I want you to think with each inhale, you get length, you crawl out a little further. And then each exhale, you try to sink back into the hips. So inhale, get length. Exhale, sink deeper. Do one more deep breath here. Inhale, exhale. And then let's go ahead and come up to all fours. We're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to get ourselves into a bent knee, then downward facing dog. So remember, we are not looking at our toes. We're looking straight down or in between our hands. Straighten that back. Sink your butt back. And I want you to kind of think like you're springing forward. I want you to spring forward into a high plank. And then I want you to go knees, chest. And if you saw this on my last little video, with knees, chest, chin, and then transition. Roll those shoulders back into that cobra pose. And then I want you going back to your knees, to your chest, to your chin. Tuck the toes under. Inhale. Exhale. Press yourself into a bent knee downward facing dog. From here, you can start to pedal that right leg. Exhale that left leg. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then I want you to walk your hands all the way to your feet. Bend those knees slightly. Make sure that I'm still in camera range. Okay. Bend those knees slightly. Let's find those elbows. Let's do our ragdoll from side to side. You know, this is one of my favorites, especially after you just cut into those hamstrings. See which one's yelling at you a little bit more. And then from here, I want you to bring your right hand down. Keep your knees bent. I want you to rotate that left arm all the way up. Inhale. Exhale. Switch hands. Inhale, rotate that shoulder, lift that arm all the way up. Exhale, come back down. Then slowly inhale, roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time. And I want you, well, I guess I can get over here and show you. We're going to do something called the dumb. This is another, I give you all my little secret video ideas. Something called the dumb waiter. We've seen that. So this is called the dumb waiter. Shake the shoulders off, roll your shoulders back, lift the chest. I want you to bring your elbows right into your side. Bend your knees. And I want you to open up your hands. From here, inhale, exhale, rotate, but try to keep your elbows close and feel that in your shoulders, like what the hell's going on? And then exhale back to center. We're doing this 10 times. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, keep those elbows close to your side. Exhale. Right? So essentially what you're doing is you're finding the internal and external rotation of your shoulder blades. So if this is hard for you, you know that this is an area where you need to work. Let's do 4 more. 3. And this, to be honest, this is tight for mostly everybody. But just make sure when you're doing this, you're not like, roll those shoulders back, lift the chest. 1. And give it a rest, shake it off, right? The reason I want to bring that to your attention is because we're going to get back here and we're going to do some more shoulder stuff. There's like something going on out there. Inhale, bring those hands all the way up. And then exhale, fold all the way down. Bend those knees. Find yourself into a flat back and then walk 1, 2, 3, all the way till you get to a high plank position. And then I want you nice and slow, elbows in tight, as slow down as you can before you crash. And then I want you to inhale, scoop yourself all the way up. Tuck those toes in. We're going to exhale, push your butt back to a downward facing dog. Now with this down dog, pedal out those legs. And I want you to inhale, bring that left leg up nice and high. You're going to bend that knee into your chest and step it through your hands. Drop your right knee, untuck your toes, scoop yourself all the way forward into this low lunge position. Bring those hands together. Inhale, exhale, rotate elbow to knee, twist. Find this stretch. Hold this for 3 deep breaths. And then go ahead, inhale, exhale, unwind. Hands come down, tuck the toes under. Inhale, exhale, bring that leg all the way back into a downward facing dog. Same thing, right leg, bend all the way up. Bend that knee into your chest and step it in between your hands. Drop that knee, untuck the toes. Inhale. You reach all the way up. Find that stretch right in your hip flexor. And then hands come together. Exhale, rotate that shoulder back. Hold this stretch. 3 deep breaths in and out through the nose. Inhale. Exhale, unwind. Hands come down. Tuck that toe under. Push yourself back into a downward facing dog here. Hold this down dog. We're going to do one more thing where we lift that leg all the way up nice and high. We're going to bend that knee into our chest, but then we drop that leg for pigeon pose. So drop that leg, basically stretch that right leg all the way back as far as you can, and then come down onto your elbows. And then come down with your hands rested onto your hand, or your head rested onto the top of your hands. We're going to hold here 3 deep breaths. Find this stretch. Breathe into it. And then I want you to inhale, rotate yourself to the left butt. I guess I'm kind of backwards. Yeah, let me just show you this how it would be. So rotate yourself to the left butt so that your foot would be the inside of your leg. And we just go into a lateral side bend. Hold. You're really trying to get that stretch out of the QL, right? Right out of that hip. Inhale, exhale, step that hand all the way back. And then we go right into that pigeon pose. And then exhale back into your downward facing dog. I know I just switched sides on you just so you could see that, but essentially, we're going to do that same thing, but with the right leg. So inhale, bring that right leg all the way up, bend the knee into your chest, drop that right leg down, stretch the left leg back, pigeon pose right side, elbow all the way down. Inhale, exhale, hand on the top of your head. 3 deep breaths here. And again, you're going to feel different sensations and different sides whenever you're doing these poses, right? The way that life comes at us is that we're pretty much imbalanced, is what it comes down to. And that's the best thing about yoga and Pilates, that it allows us to find these imbalances, feel them, make a mind-body connection, and then address them whenever we need to. So then inhale. We're going to exhale. I'll show you from the back side. Rotate to your right butt. Elbow goes into the left. Right leg goes into your left leg. And then you rotate, lateral side bend. So you can kind of see it from the posterior chain. But I'm going to face you. It would be like so. And again, you're trying to find that stretch right out of that QL. And I go ahead, inhale, exhale, come back to that pigeon pose position. Tuck that toe under, downward facing dog. Hold this down dog for 3 deep breaths. Bend your knees, push your butt back, and then straighten your legs. And see how that just intensifies it a little bit more. And hold, bring those knees down. Big toes together, knees wide apart, child's pose. In this child's pose, I want you to go ahead and thread your right arm under your left. Inhale. Exhale, come up. Do the same thing to the left side. Rotate your left arm under your right. Inhale. Exhale, come all the way up. And I want you to roll those shoulders back. Sit up nice and tall with your legs in that child's pose position. And then inhale, exhale, keep your back nice and flat. Walk yourself all the way out. Back into that child's pose. But then this time, flip your palms up. And hold this stretch for 3 deep breaths. Inhale, come all the way up to a tabletop position. Cross your legs, sit behind your feet, and we're going to straighten our legs. We're going to sit in staff pose here. We got a couple more poses here before we are done, so stay with me. Everybody's doing great. Actually, I hope you're doing great because I can't really even see you, right? You got to take your word for it. I know you're doing great. Toes pointing up to the sky. Sitting in this staff pose, I want you to roll your shoulders back, lift your chest, fingertips here, and try to make this L shape with your body, right? I don't want you doing this. I don't want you shrimping. I want you shoulders back. Think about your ears in line right at your collarbone. And try to stay still. And just feel how hard it is to stay still like this. You're fighting against your hamstrings, your back. But you find that when you breathe, it's open. You get more of a deeper breath. Why? Because we're getting more lung capacity here. So that's why I encourage you to try to sit like this still for 30 seconds a day, focusing on the breath. It's tough. Shouldn't be that tough. But our posture is just so shit anymore that we have to force ourselves into positions like this to adjust. So then inhale, roll your shoulders, roll yourself down nice and slow, 1 vertebrae at a time. And I guess I'm a little out of focus here, but you get the point. Roll yourself all the way down. And then bend those knees into your chest. And I want you to go ahead, bring your arms into that field goal post position. And then drop your legs to the right-hand side as your gaze looks to the left for this simple spinal twist. And I am on the weights here, so let me move the hell over. Inhale. Exhale, drop those legs. And we're going to hold here. And it's okay if you rotate, but just keep the shoulders on the ground the most. That's your most important. Oh my God, I am sore in this position. I can't even talk. Inhale, and then exhale, contract that core, bring it up to center. I think I might have did a little too much yesterday. Inhale. Exhale, drop the legs. The gaze looks to the right. Keeping those shoulders on the ground. Don't lift that right shoulder up. If it's tough, then keep your legs up a little higher. Exhale, contract that core, bring it up to center. And let's do that one more time. Inhale, drop those legs to the right. Gaze looks over your left arm. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Back to center. And let's do that one more time. Inhale, drop it to the left. Gaze looking over that right arm. Exhale. Bend your knees into your chest. And let's straighten your right leg. Let's go ahead, straighten your left leg. And I want us to go right into this body scan in Shavasana. So this body scan is going to be very fun. It's a little isometric contraction. So I want you to go ahead, put your hands down on the ground where you're gripping the mat. But first, lift your hips up, get the butt out of your lower back, and just allow yourself to sit weightless. So close your eyes. Take a deep inhale. And I want you to go ahead and push your right heel into the ground. And just feel how that turns on all the muscles in the right leg. And just drop that right leg. Inhale, exhale, push your left heel into the ground. And feel how all the muscles in the left leg turn on. Relax. Now let's do them both together. Push. Slight knee bend. Relax. Now push your right hand into the ground. Feel those muscles contract. Relax. Left hand this time. Push. Relax. Now let's do them both together. Push. Inhaling, exhaling. Relax. Flip those palms up. Take a deep inhale with us. And then let's do a deep exhale out through the mouth. Let it all out till you feel that emptiness. Feel that core contract. Take a deep inhale through that lower diaphragm. Keep going. Inhale. Feel the lungs. And then exhale. Let it all out. And then bend those knees into your chest. Roll over using your left arm as a pillow. Take a deep inhale. Use your right hand. Exhale. Come all the way up. Open your eyes. See the world around you. It's a little brighter. It's a little lighter. But really start to feel yourself. Roll those shoulders back. Lift the chest. Think about how you were just feeling 40 minutes ago. Think about how you feel now. Like a new person, right? And we do this every Sunday. So bring your hands into your chest. Bow your head and namaste. So namaste, everyone. That is our 20-minute yoga Pilates class that we do every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you got any value out of that, drop a fire, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a whatever. Let me know how you done, how you did, and how we can improve, right? Because again, remember, this is all for you, right? So if you have any recommendations, you have any ideas, what do you want us to do for the community? We're going to do it. So holler at me. Let me know how you did. And I'll spin it around. I'll spend 5 or 10 minutes here talking with you. Let me know how we did and how we're going to keep going. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We did this live on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So hopefully you're able to hear me through these platforms over here. You never know. I think I did so many videos before and they were just